Oh, maybe not. Opponent's got a Fierce Guardianship. 2 Krark triggers. Oh, yep, there it is. That's how this deck goes. Destroy all artifacts and all creatures 3 or less. Getting crushed. We're back with some more Akiri Jeska. Can we survive even more artifact removal plus a counterspell lock? Find out next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. Welcome back, everyone. Game 2 with Akiri Slinger and Jeska Thrice Reborn. Today's deck list coming to us from Patreon supporter Ryan. We've got fast mana. Yeah, this looks good. We'll go ahead and keep. Underworld Breach is more of a late game thing, but we do have a Divining Top to kind of filter into potentially some better stuff, so I like that. Also, we'll have 2 artifacts on turn 1, so nearly at Metalcraft for Mox Amber. And we're going to be playing some stronger decks today. Let's see what opponents brought. Ooh, Krark, Golos, and Prossh. Yippee. Well, it's going to be a match. We'll see how this goes. I know this deck is pretty good, so I've already played a game with it. I've seen his deck list. We've talked about it a little bit. It can do some stuff. It is highly aggressive. The problem is that this deck basically lives or dies by whether your opponents have a Vandal Blast or not. If all your artifacts get blown up, it's not that you can't recover from it, but in a setting like this where people tend to recover very quickly, like if you don't win, the next person in line probably wins, so it doesn't give you a lot of time to rebuild based on where this deck should probably be played. That's a Relic Seeker. That's actually pretty handy. Yeah, maybe we'll try to get that next turn. So I think this turn, get the Mox Amber. That one's free. Play the Ancient Tomb, play the Divining Top. Man, I haven't used Divining Top in a long time. It's good, but it's tricky. It is good for this deck, though, because it's a cheap artifact that does stuff. And Akiri likes those. Oh, right, this is the Legendary Creature one, not the Metalcraft one. The Metalcraft one is right there. Ooh, those are Magic cards. Huh. So, I think Akiri on the bottom of that pile. Drannith Magistrate seems pretty good. We might have a little bit of time before we can do that. And then I think Mox Opal on top. And I know we could tap the Divining Top right here and get it, but I don't think that actually does any... does it do anything? Does it give us this Relic Seeker? No. Relic Seeker is not legendary. Okay, yeah. That being the case, pass the turn. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Feel good about all that. Oh! Arid Mesa shuffles our library, and we need it for white mana. Makes me sad. Oh, actually, you know what? Maybe we can make this work. How do we make this work? We can get the thing off the top. Okay, I think this might work. We can play the mountain. We can use the Metalcraft thing for white mana, cast Akiri. That'll turn on Mox Amber, and then we can cast Relic Seeker after that. That seems pretty good. There's a Soul Ring for opponent. That's not what you want to see. So in the last game, Mango was in that game, and did make a couple mistakes in that one. I'll probably post both, because Ryan's been waiting for this video for a little while now. Had some personal issues come up, and that has delayed the production of this video. So, that being the case, the least I can do is post both videos. That's another Soul Ring coming down, one for the Golos. Yep, I would love to get to that Drannith Magistrate really soon. You know, I might go Drannith Magistrate over Relic Seeker. Activated abilities of creatures can't be activated. Ugh. There's the Mox Opal. Play the Mox Opal. Play the Mountain like we talked about. Play the Akiri like we talked about. It's a 3/3. This can now make mana. I think I want that Drannith Magistrate. I'll just feel a lot better with that in play. So we're going to draw a card. It's the Drannith Magistrate. Cast the Drannith Magistrate. Boom. Feeling pretty good about that. 1 floating, can't do much with it. We'll pass the turn. Turn 2, we've got, what, 5 mana to our name? Here's an Impact Tremors for opponent. Pretty scary. Does a lot of things. Plays an elf. Gets us all for 1. You know, this is a situation where Bruce Tarl might be preferable. Although, I guess they can't cast Prossh until they deal with the Drannith Magistrate. Opponent says, Turbo Boros, shove out as many artifacts as possible and triple Akiri's damage. Yep, that's the game plan. That is the game plan. There's the Divining Top coming back. I don't really want to crack the Arid Mesa yet. There's an Akiri on top of our deck that I really want. So I'm going to play the Arid Mesa, but not crack. I think I'm probably going to go like Relic Seeker and Jeska. Any Urborgs in play? Not currently. Oh, right. We have white mana over here. Okay. What are they playing? Oh, they're playing that thing? Yeah, that deck is kind of crazy. Let's cast this Jeska. Yeah, I've seen this type of deck win on like turn 2 or 3 through stacks pieces. It's pretty ridiculous. We'll triple the damage on Akiri. We need to get... Does this make mana? That's not making mana currently. Well, that being the case, I still want the Akiri on top, so we're going to have to wait a turn on the Relic Seeker. Do we give up on the Akiri? I really don't want to. Let's get the Divining Top back into play. I mean, we definitely need to do that. I guess we could Relic Seeker for a sword, but something could happen to the Relic Seeker. We'll poke 7 Deadly, because I've seen this Krark Sakashima deck before. Not his specifically, but I've seen someone else play it, and it can be very fast. Yeah, I want this Akiri too bad to... You know what? I might give up on the top. Opponent takes a hit for 9 commander. I'm going to draw with the top. I'm going to give up on the top, actually. So there's the Akiri that we so badly want. Now we can shuffle. This thing still makes mana, right? No, that no longer makes mana. Okay, so we don't want to do that. Okay, we effectively did nothing other than shut our thing off. I'm glad I double-checked. Pass like that. Mox Opal for opponent. Mango is really soft to a Vandal Blast. He only has 2 lands in play and a creature that can't be activated. If we do blow that up, though, then he'll be able to activate the creature, but still a loss of 3 permanents. I think a lot of people would get crushed by a Vandal Blast. See how much value we can milk it for, but... Oh, Golos turns, you say. Opponent looking for some answers. Forbidden Orchard. Gonna give some tokens to Mango. Oh, yep, there it is. That's how this deck goes. Destroy all artifacts and all creatures 3 or less. Getting crushed. Yep. That is the problem with this deck. That will happen, and life is bad when it does. Anything we can do? You know what? At least the top is on top of our deck. Back to the command zone. Mango's hurting. Golos is in reasonable shape. They've got 4 lands. Curse Totem is down. We've still got our Jeska in play. That's cool. No plus on the Jeska, sadly. Imperial Recruiter. We need more things in the graveyard to escape for the Underworld Breach, so that's not ideal. We'll get 1 with the land. If we Vandal Blast, that could be 1. What'd they get? Dualcaster Mage. Yep, that's a problem. Divining Top. Underworld Breach for Drannith Magistrate? Crack the Arid Mesa. Get a Plateau. We could Underworld Breach for 1 card. Wait, you escaped 3, right? Plus exile 3 other cards. So we could get 1 card back. It probably has to be the Drannith Magistrate, which makes me very sad because I would very much like some of these mana rocks back. Unless, oh man, what if we Vandal Blasted our Sensei's Divining Top? That would put 2 cards into the graveyard. It would use our red. It would use this red. We'd have to use this one for Underworld Breach. We'd be able to get back... Yeah, I don't think that's worth it. How much time do we have on this Krark Sakashima bit? If they play 1 more land, they can do it. Yeah, it's not going to be a great Underworld Breach, but I think we just have to do it. Underworld Breach, get back, Drannith Magistrate, pay a white. Very sad about exiling these 2 mana rocks. Drannith Magistrate is back, and we'll pass like that. Because that also keeps Golos out of play too, which is, you know, an important thing on that deck. Underworld Breach gets sacrificed at the end step. Forbidden Orchard trigger. Soul Herder for opponent. Yeah, that does seem really good in that deck. You can just blink Golos every time, you know, if there's no Drannith Magistrate there. This is probably worth shooting for 1 damage. Although Krark is 2, right? Krark is a 2/2, so if that gets in at any point, then could make sense to save Jeska for that. But, you know, if we get like a Fire and Ice or something with this Relic Seeker, that'll also do the same sort of thing. Umazawa's. Ooh, opponent's going to destroy our Ancient Tomb. The Strip Mine. That hurts. Who did that? Firemaker, huh? Man, why are people always targeting my lands? Pretty annoying. There's a Pyroblast. It's fun. We got to get the Relic Seeker. I don't think we have really other options at this point. I guess we could go Divining Top and try to get to a land and all that, but out of spite, I'm going to shoot this Soul Herder for 1. Actually, wait. Does it do 1 3 times? How does this work? Yeah, I think we could do 1 to 3 targets, so let's try that. Yeah, that worked. Oh, that's better than I thought. Yeah, we could attack, but it's just for 1. It's not really worth it. Do you have a Dowsing Dagger in this deck? We're probably going to need it based on our mana situation. Has the Sword of the Animist. I don't see Dowsing Dagger. Forbidden Orchard. Impact Tremors. Opponent passing. That's an intuition. Don't love that. There needs to be a better white hate bear that shuts down searching. I know there's Cat Jesus and I know there's Aven Mind Sensor. Aven Mind Sensor's a little too expensive at 3. You'll notice we're only on 2 mana right now. And Cat Jesus, at this point in the game, you know, as the game gets later like this, people can easily just pay for it, so it's not a hard lock. I would really like a white hate bear that's just like a hard lock on searching. Unfortunately, they gave that effect to black and made it even worse than that, since you steal the tutor. Island Mountain Lightning Bolt. Yeah. They gave him the Lightning Bolt. I don't know that I would have did that. I guess we have a Pyroblast. So they're going to shoot the Drannith Magistrate. That's going to open the floodgate of things we don't want. Here comes Krark. Yeah, maybe we should have saved that mana for Krark. Here's a Hammer of Dazan. That's not going to be great without mana. Swing. I mean, I guess we can zero this thing on the Renown. I'm going to attack 7 deadly. Because if he blocks, that's still a win for us. I don't think that he will, but they take the hit, they go down to 20, we get a Renown trigger. Pretty much has to be Sword of the Animist. Use the ability. Sword of the Animist. Cast Sword of the Animist. We need the game to go several turns from this point, which is not great. And we're probably going to lose Jeska also. Here comes Golos. I'm sure the pain will start soon. Impact Tremors continuing to trigger. Ooh, opponent's going to mana drain the Golos, which is good, but then that's also going to give them a crap ton of mana on their turn. Oh, I think Krark countered it. Yep, Krark countered the mana drain. If you lose the flip, return it to its owner's hand. You win the flip, copy it. Okay, yeah. So they lost the flip and it went back to their hand. Now we know they have a mana drain. It's kind of scary. What land do they get right here? Temple of the False God. That is surprisingly tame. It does give them a recast on Golos, though, which means that just using a Vandal Blast on it, especially when we're stuck at 2 mana, probably not the best. Interestingly, the spirits did not attack Jeska, maybe because Mango wants us to kill the other players. Here comes Sakashima. Yep. Opponent is going to attack our Jeska. It's unfortunate. Can't do anything about it. Would still love a land off the top. Jeska down. Back to the command zone. It's a Mind Stone. Ugh. Equip a Sword of the Animist. It's a 4/4. Send it to 7 deadly. Sword of the Animist trigger. We have a little bit more red in our hand, but we'll get a white. Just we don't have a second white source, and there are some of the hate bears are white and stuff like that, so we'll get the plains for now. Yeah, if we can get through this next turn cycle without things going terribly wrong. I mean, I'm worried about what the Golos can do, because you should always be worried about what the Golos can do. But if we get back to our next turn, and let's just suppose we drew a land off the top, then we could hit our 4th land there, get our 5th land off the Animus, get the Mind Stone, so the following turn, we could actually have some mana to be able to do some things. And that would be super cool. How many lands is he running in this deck? He's running 32 lands with probably a couple flip lands in there. That's actually not that bad. Well, actually, I don't think he is running any flip lands. Okay. If he has 2 or 3 flip lands in there, yeah, those are probably what I would look to add. 32 is cheating a bit. Elvish Mystic for opponent. Because this deck, yeah, you could have some magical Christmas land where we come out and get 7 power on Akiri super fast and then get someone out of the game. It's probably not going to work for all 3 players. So, I do think this deck, it needs to sustain just a little bit and probably a couple more lands, at least the flip lands, because that will, you're still getting a spell or a land depending on what you need. So I like Sajiri Glacier. The red shuffle one is good. The other ones, there's Kabira Takedown and there's Shatter Skull Pass. I'm not completely sold on those yet, especially for this type of setting. You kind of need a lot of mana to make those work generally. I haven't been super crazy about them up to this point. There's a Deserted Temple. Yep, those are good. You can get a lot of colorless mana. He's going to activate Golos. Let's see how bad this gets. Impact Tremors. Everyone bleeding. Come on, whiff. Seems unlikely. There's the ability. Karn's Temple Sundering, a Rune-Scarred Demon, and a Conjurer's Closet. And that's probably going to do it. Oh, maybe not. Opponent's got a Fierce Guardianship. 2 Krark triggers. Need those to come up the right way. They do not. They do not. Oh, wait. Oh, there's one. Excellent. Nice. Okay. Conjurer's Closet, Rune-Scarred Demon, still pretty good. Don't exactly know how we're going to get through those. We have a Vandal Blast for the Conjurer's Closet. Might have to. Shooting Golos also takes him down for a turn. I wonder if the blue deck will go into Control Roll. They still have a mana drain. Land off the top, we could play Hammer of Nazan, and that would actually allow us to keep swinging into Firemaker. Here's the Conjurer's Closet. Oh, right. The Fierce Guardianship went back to their hand. Nice. Wow, that's super nasty. So if one keeps going back... Ooh. That got countered. Okay. Fierce Guardianship is definitely back in their hand. Wow. That seems insane. Yeah, that's a problem. Amulet of Vigor. Opponent can attack over to 7 deadly, causing some headaches for them. They go down to 10. I don't really know. So, because now they're kind of keeping them in check. I would love to be able to swing through this Rune-Scarred Demon. I guess we also have to worry about them just winning somehow. They hit a ritual or something. That could be bad. Up to 5 mana, they could cast a 2-drop and then dual caster mage it. It's a Phantasmal Image. It's not good. It's another Krark. Maybe casting Akiri right here is better. They have a mana drain. I imagine they would save that mana drain for the Golos player, though. The other problem, too, man, this is tricky. I really want to land off the top, though. There's a land, thank God. All right, play a mountain. Casting a creature probably, or casting a non-creature probably just gets countered. I don't know that they use a mana drain on Akiri, although there's 3 of them. Wow. 3 of them is difficult. What things do we think we can do safely? Sort of the question. I don't think they're going to use one, because, well, I still have the Fierce Guardianship. I feel like they would let an Akiri go. Based on where their life's at right now, we could probably at least force a block with the Akiri if they don't counter. Do you think we need to break the counter spell lock? We don't really have a profitable attack anywhere else. Yeah, so we'll just do that since it's the most profitable over there. Sword of the Animist and Akiri trigger. Fast mana would be good. Buried Ruin is fine. It's a land. Can play it next turn. We are going to need mana if we want to win this game, so yeah. We'll get a red this time. Bunch of things to be doing with red mana. And this will get interesting because this will pressure opponents a little bit. Basically, Runescarred can swing in for lethal if they don't block this. Also, if some stuff happens with, like, Impact Tremors. Okay, they're going to block with 1, so yeah, we definitely want to get, like, a Krark out of there, because... But there's still ways that they could take lethal damage. Like, even if they just turned everything sideways over there, then, you know, at the very least, they'd have to block with all their stuff. So Phantasmal Image goes down. And we've got 1 left that we can either use Akiri or Pyroblast as needed, so we'll do that. Mango has no black mana. Can't cast Prossh. Also 1 short. It's going to send all 3 into the Krark player. Ooh, sending the Mana Dork. The problem does become that we will need to deal with the Golos after that. They did tutor something into their hand. Don't know what that was. Hopefully it's blue and we can counter it. The plan is probably something like Pyroblast something if we can, the turn spell. Vandal Blast the Golos. Opponent's down to 8. Yeah, the Fierce Guardianship with 2 Krarks is almost like a hard block against non-creature spells. Wish we had a 1 damage spell. Actually, no, like a 1 damage spell won't fix it. Because they can just counter it. They're going to send the Runescar Demon. Opponent's at 2. Forbidden Orchard is the thing. Opponent's gonna give Mango a Forbidden Orchard thing. That'll put 7 deadly down to 1 life. Do they have 1 damage that won't be countered? Deserted Temple. Oh, they can untap the Forbidden Orchard. Okay, I see. This will probably kill them. Here comes the second Forbidden Orchard. Into the second Impact Tremors. Does he have a Stifle? He does not, so he goes down to the Impact Tremors. Impact Tremors has done a bunch this game. He's got 4 of those right there, and that's before everything else, so yeah, there's been some damage off of that. Now we need to deal with the Golos, and then after that we'll have to deal with the Prossh, and we're not super well set up to deal with either. They're at a lot of life, which isn't great. Golos ability. 2 green cards, a Magus, a Prismatic Omen, and a land. I'm not sure how I feel about those yet. Some type of removal is probably necessary on the Magus. Maybe we could recast Jeska. Oh god, that's a Force of Vigor. Oh, that's Mango's Force of Vigor. Ooh, nice. He's going to hit Golos and the Amulet. He's got an Ephemerate for the Golos. We can hit it with the Vandal Blast. We can't respond to any of that, though. Mango got more stuff. Court of Calling X3. Should be interesting. He needs black mana. Goes for a Rex Sage. Really wants that stuff out of here. Rex Sage on the Golos. Love it. Love it. Impact Tremors. Ooh, and now opponent's tapped out, so we can wail them pretty hard. Ephemerate's gonna fizzle. Nice. That's nice plays out of Mango right there. Amulet will untap the land. Prismatic Omen. Magus. There's a Wooded Foothills. Interesting. We'll have 6 total mana. We could spend 4 of it on a Hammer of Nazan. We could spend 5 of it on a Jeska. And Jeska would mean that this would do like 12 damage if they don't block. And then with that being the case, so they either have to give up on their Magus if they don't want to take a lot of damage, or they get almost cut in half. And, you know, after like another Impact Tremors or 2, you're probably talking about 1 hit being lethal. But I guess we also have to watch out for the 6 in the air. I don't know that we really have options against that, but we could Divining Top just to try to better our odds. Should probably leave up the Pyroblast. If we hammered, we would draw 2 cards instead of 1. Oh, you want to what? Jeska can shoot the Magus. That seems important. Play the Buried Ruin. Jeska's 5 now? Jeska's 5 now. If we did that, we would not be able to leave up Pyroblast. Yeah, okay. I think that's the play. Mind Stone, because we also need more mana. Then Jeska. Comes in with 3 counters. Excellent. Use the other mode. Hit that. That and that. That'll be for 2. Yeah, okay, I like this. Now we don't have to lose to the Magus, and that's cool. Leave Akiri back for blocks. Fire is the more threatening with the Golos at the moment, so we'll attack him. Sword of the Animist and an Akiri trigger. We draw a card, it's a Plains. Use the ability, get a Plains. They take some damage, and we pass like that. So they're at 26, we're at 21. Mango's still at 40. He hasn't really been the threat because he's been crushed on mana, so... But, I mean, Prossh can go from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds, so that's a thing. Ew, that's a blasphemous act. Well, we're going to lose all our stuff. That probably favors the Golos a bit. We kind of need some haste now, so we got to get Akiri back into play, so probably like Akiri, Divining Top, sit on Pyroblast. Maybe you have to Vandal Blast a Golos. Mango says he brought removal. Yes, he did. Desert a temple, untap, Temple of the False God. Those aren't the same temples, are they? No, they're by different artists. That's a Yarok. That's kind of gross. So that might have to be our Pyroblast. Looks like they're 1 short from recasting Golos, which is good. Forbidden Orchard. Don't be a Turnspell. Turnspell would be bad. Impact Tremors. Down to 20. Kind of do wish there was a plus on this thing. Truth and Justice. If this is in your command zone, maybe Truth and Justice is worth a slot. I'd have to check that out. However, that's a Blood Moon. That's exactly what we want. Okay, let's make sure we play the things we need first. So we have a couple Plains. There's another Plains if we need one. That is going to help a lot. So, we need Blood Moon. We need Akiri. Let's play the Plains. Start with that. Let's get Akiri. Let's get a Blood Moon. I think after that I want to get the top back into play. Ooh, yeah, we'll get the top back into play, sit on the Pyroblast. That makes right? Okay. That feels like it makes sense. Blood Moon's so good. That is the right stacks piece that we wanted. Mana Dork coming in, burns us for 1. Getting down there. That's all Mango's got. See what opponents got. They can recast Golos. They can cast an Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, is what they can do. That's going to be tough to get through. Targeting Akiri and Blood Moon. It's unfortunate. This is where a Bolt Bend or something like that, Deflecting Swat, would be good. It's not great. It's not great. Back to the command zone. How do we get this last 24 damage in? Not excited about having to like tap out again to recast Akiri. Here comes Yarok into our face. Yep. Into a bit of a life race here. But if Mango just finds black, he casts Prossh, and then we all take a lot of damage. Down to 16, end step. Let's take a look with the Divining Top. 2 lands makes that not a terribly difficult decision, so put on top, draw a Steel Shaper's Gift. Play the Wooded Foothills. I'm going to hold off on cracking it for just a second. We're probably going to, we're going to need some sort of unblockable. Lifelink would also be good. How big can we get Akiri? Akiri's going to have 3 power. 4 if we play that, 5 if we play that. Not enough to block. Well, I guess if we're indestructible, then we can block that way. Believe it or not, I might actually be on like Shadow Spear for the life gain. At some point, we'll get big enough to kind of trample through. Also, I mean, they're going to attack with this, so it won't be a blocker forever. Yeah, so maybe... Oh, God, I hope we have enough to do this. How much is Akiri? Akiri's going to be 6. That's going to be 10 total mana with the hammer. We have exactly enough to go Akiri Hammer, which is at least a big blocker. But then we have to go shields down against Yarok and Golos. Yeah, it's not great. I mean, they're going to have to tap 7. That'll get them to 7 kind of quickly. So they won't be able to make a lot of other plays with Golos, but is there anything we can do that's like... I think it's got to be Akiri and Hammer, just for the blocking. Hope we survive the turn. It's turn 11. It's getting late. We're going to crack the Wood Foothills. I'm going to go for the Mountain, because the 2 life could matter with that Impact Tremors. Recast Akiri. Cast a Hammer on Nazan. Free equip. 6/3 indestructible. See if it holds up. Sunforger in the deck? No. Yeah, Sunforger, the game is sped up a lot, and Sunforger is tricky to run now. It takes a lot of mana to use, so unless you have like all the free equips, it can be pretty challenging. No black mana for Mango still. Good for our life total. A turn spell could be bad. Mana Crypt? It's okay. I don't think they can cast Golos and activate this turn after the Mana Crypt, but I don't know. Oh, they might be able to. Or they could just Torment Failfire for a whole bunch. That would be terrible. Impact Tremors, taking us down. Yeah, this is going to be a big Torment. I don't think we have enough to survive it. There it is, X11. So we need to survive at... Well, Mango's probably not going to die. He could just take 33, and that would be fine. Alright, start getting rid of stuff. Mind Stone. Jeska. Pyroblast. Divining Top. Lose 3 life. Lose 3 life. Lose 3 life. We're at 5. We can't take another one of those. We got to get rid of 2 more things. Ugh. Sword of the Animist. We really need the Steel Shaper's Gift. I guess we discard it. We're at 2. They can just swing both things our way. Torment of Hellfire. Why? Yep, here they come. And we die to that. Wow, that's frustrating. That's so frustrating. Literal anything else. Mango hits a swamp and casts Prossh. It's a lot of damage and they can't really attack through it. Yeah, we needed a Winter Orb. More than a Blood Moon, a Winter Orb probably does it. Mango scoops it right there. Yep, had a whole bunch of black cards in his hand and a Beast Within. Yep, got by the Torment of Hellfire. Alright, wrapping up these 2 games. So, this is actually the 3rd wrap-up that I filmed for this particular deck. The first 2 were hilariously long. The first one never really got to a point. The second one made plenty of good points, but was still just too long to really be usable. So here we are doing the wrap-up for the 3rd time, and this time I will try to be concise with my thoughts. So, both games played out very similarly in that opponents had the big artifact removal spell, and we also got a land blown up in those games. And looking at this deck, thinking about other Akiri decks that I've played over the years, the issue is always removal. Because you come out early and are a giant threat early in the game, people use a lot of removal on you, which means you need to protect your stuff from getting removed. So I've already gone ahead and put together the list of cards that I would add to the deck, and that is right here. We need more protection effects. Like that last game, if we were able to protect that Blood Moon from the Ulamog, I think we probably just win that game very easily. The problem is they had exactly the right removal spell to get rid of the Blood Moon, and then we died. So I think I want to see things like Faith Shield, Blacksmith Skill, and Bolt Bend into the deck. And honestly, I would probably go for all of these because keeping your stuff alive is so critically important. If our stuff never gets blown up in either of these games, we probably win both games. In the second game, as simple as just the Ancient Tomb not being strip mined, we probably are able to win from that. Like if we have 4 mana instead of 2, whenever that turn happened, then I think we could have still won from that position because of Sensei's Divining Top and all that sort of stuff. So I really can't overstate how important it is just to keep your stuff alive. So I definitely want to see a bunch more protection effects into the deck. The next thing I want to see the land count go up slightly. So I've added Sajiri Shelter and Valakut Awakening to the deck. In both of those games, if we were hitting all of our land drops naturally, then I think we also have a better chance there as well. And, 34 is still a low land count, so, we're not going crazy exactly, but I think 32 is cheating just a little bit too much. So I want to see that go up maybe 2 to 3 lands. The next thing is, I think this deck really just wants Waves of Aggressions. It partially combos with Feast and Famine, but even beyond that, just getting that extra attack is often enough to kill a player, sometimes 2. Whenever you're having that big turn, making it even bigger is how you win the game. I've won so many games where it's like attack, Waves of Aggression, attack again, and now you're really far ahead. Like if you've got equipment on there that are generating value, then things are going pretty crazy. So I definitely like to see Waves of Aggression. I'll come to this one last. So because we're doing the Winter Orb and Static Orb plan, I think it makes sense to think about Hokori just to have more access to that type of effect. If that's the thing that you really want to be doing, and that's a great plan with this deck, I've been thinking about this one a lot, is that I think you also want Hokori just to give yourself redundancy for that type of effect. I would also change your mana base a bit too. Well, not so much the mana base, but more so the artifact base. I would definitely make sure you have a ton of mana rocks, and I'd probably also get a Dowsing Dagger into the deck, because untapping a Dowsing Dagger with any of these effects in play, the Lost Veil, gives you way more mana than your opponents. So that's a cute little trick as well, beside the fact that Dowsing Dagger is just good. I'd probably go about things that way. The other thing to think about too, if you're wanting to be on the Winter Orb plan, Goblin Engineer makes it much easier to find that Winter Orb. And, it just sits in your graveyard and then you pull it out when you need it. And depending on when you catch it with the untap cycle, you can really do some wild stuff with it, where if you bring it in at the right time and then wait for it to untap, you can sacrifice it before your untap step. So now you have mana and your opponents don't. It's a little bit weird timing wise, but, even if you do that once in a game, that can be pretty impactful. I'd probably add a Goblin Engineer. Next up, Dismantling Wave. I think this is going to be better than Vandal Blast. I know why you run Vandal Blast, try to shoot the early Soul Rings and Mana Crypts and stuff, but this also misses a lot. Like, we had a Vandal Blast that we never did anything with in the second game, and Destroying important enchantments is a really big deal. Rhystic Studies can't stay in play. Smothering Tithes can't stay in play. I think paying a little bit more mana for a bit more freedom of targeting is going to be a good thing. And this kills 3 things for 3 mana. It is rare that I want to tap out 5 mana for a Vandal Blast, especially in these higher power settings where you just don't have a lot of time. So I'd probably switch those out. And the final thing I want to talk about is this Alms Collector. So I've been thinking about like what I see from other decks, and I mean, when you see a blue deck now at a higher power level, you certainly expect to see Narset and Wheel in the deck. And while Alms Collector isn't as good as Narset, I think Alms Collector is a really attractive option right now. I think it's better positioned than it ever has been before, and being able to stop your opponent's draw is such a big deal, and if you hit the wheel, or if your opponent has a wheel, you can basically make them discard all but 1 card in their hand. So that in and of itself should allow you to win a game. It's something that I've been wanting to test a lot myself, so I would really look into this. He's already got Wheel of Fortune, which is the hard one, and he's got most of the other wheels in the deck as well, so I would probably add this Alms Collector in, both because it stops your opponent's draws. Like in the first game, we saw a Momentous Fall and a Rishkar's Expertise. You stop those dead in their tracks, and that's fantastic. But at a higher power level, also Brainstorms and Sylvan Libraries, you're getting rid of those. So there's just a lot of good things that Alms Collector can do. I know it doesn't hit everything. It misses Rhystic Study and Mystic Remora, and that's deeply frustrating, but I still think it does enough good things that it's worth checking this thing out. Now, as far as cards that underperformed a bit, I wasn't impressed with Vandal Blast. I generally don't use Vandal Blast if I have access to white, which is most of the decks that I play. I just feel like it's 5 mana to overload this thing. For 6 mana, you can play an Austere command. And that'll hit whatever targets you need it to. So that's been kind of my thing. I know sometimes you want that efficiency to blow up a turn 1 Mana Crypt or Soul Ring. That's just something that I've kind of given up on at this point because there's so much timing involved. Like, you need to have it, and they need to have it, and the damage also has to not already be done. So I don't know. I think I'm more on the Dismantling Wave plan right there. Sigarda's Aid has some weird timing problems that I still don't love. So I've gotten away from this one. Fervent Champion is a card that I like much more. Underworld Breach, it's only been 1 game, but it's definitely a little bit awkward right here where we didn't have that much stuff to escape and not a lot of mana to do it with. I'm not sure that this is the right deck for Underworld Breach based on those 2 things. Maybe it gets there with a little bit more mana. I'm not sure. But it was definitely a bit awkward. And the Pyroblast was also a bit awkward. If you're thinking about stuff right now, blue isn't the color it used to be. Green is kind of the scary color now. So I'd probably go for a Tibolt's Trickery in this spot instead. Just because that freedom of targeting whatever you need to target. I know Pyroblast is good. It's certainly very, very playable at this level. But, we died to a Torment of Hellfire and a Crater Hoof. Pyroblast doesn't help us against those, where Tibolt's Trickery would have saved us from both, potentially. So just something to think about there. These are the cards that I thought underperformed a little bit. I'm not going to be able to get this deck list down to 100 cards right here. It's too well tuned. There's going to be a lot of labor that goes into every choice, but these are probably the ones that I would cut right here. That brings you down to 104, and then you're going to have to kind of figure out what you want from this pile and what other stuff you want to come out of the deck. So anyway, wrapping up, here are the big things that I saw, is that removal crushes this deck, and that's always been my experience with trying to play these fast, aggressive Akiri decks, is that you eat all of the removal at the table, so you want to protect yourself against that. And I forget if I mentioned it already, but this is a deck that I've been thinking about building myself. So I'm not just going through these for Ryan. I'm also thinking about how would I do this? This is a deck that I've been actively thinking about for probably a month or 2 at this point. So it's definitely a deck that I've thought a lot about. The other thing too, and we talked about the mana a little bit, but this deck doesn't win as fast as you think it does. You can probably kill the first player maybe around turn 3, turn 4. Probably turn 4, I would say, is probably going to be the average. But that's still only 1 player. That means that, if things go magically, you're still not killing the last player until turn 6. And opponents can do plenty of horrible things to you in 6 turns. So I do think you want to set up for just a little bit more of the late game. Right now, I think it's leaning too heavily into the early game. I think you want to be able to sustain just a little bit better. So that's going to mean just a couple more 4 and 5 drops in the deck, maybe a 6 drop or 2. You don't need to go wild. I would say no more than maybe 4 additional cards between 4 and 6 CMC. Just something to give you just a little bit more punch. because we've had incredible early games and then we get hit by removal and then we're just completely stuck in the mid and late game. And part of that is land-based and, you know, this, but there's other stuff going on too. I had talked about the Godo Helm combo in one of the previous wrap-ups that got cut. It's certainly something to consider, and it's something that I've used a bunch while playing various Akiri decks, so something to think about. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching. Commander Replay t-shirts, available in orange and colors beside orange. Hey guys, help support me and save 15% on singles by using the promo code REPLAY at mothershipatx.com.